My hair is a little wackier than normal. I had it up in a bun. I decided last night I'm going to sleep with a bun on top of my head because I used to do that, but my hair has just gotten so heavy that it's just like pulling. And, as they're doing this stuff that's making our hair fall out, I can't even believe how many people are, having their hair fall out. And it has something to do with this frequency. So anyways, braiding it comes out funky. And then sleeping on it without doing anything. Oh my God. Especially with the going back and forth, it turns into like this crazy, just a mat of hair. So last time I was like, okay, I'm going to put it up in a bun. But anyways, it kind of is like, stuck up in a part of it or something. Just it's not relaxed yet. So anyways, there was a few things I wanted to talk about and see if I can keep them straight. So one thing is that halo around the sun that I saw yesterday was trippy. And there is some people, are like, well, it's all the toxins up there. For one thing, we haven't even had a sun over here where I'm at for a long time. That was literally the sun. Because you could tell it looks totally different. I can't believe there's people who I can't even with these people who want to argue. You just either you're not knowing what the other sun was like, or you don't have the fake sun where you're at yet. I think they're testing it in different places. I don't know how it works. I don't know because they're in control of all this. This is a Truman Show. So I don't know, what they're doing. If they're just like, hey, let's just put the sun over here and we'll just put this pretend one over here, and what they're trying to block and all of that. But yesterday, so it was a real sun. You could look at it. You could sun gaze. And it's so trippy too, because when you look at it through the veil or whatever, the trees give, kind of a cushion to being able to look so you can see it without just staring directly, But when you look, you can see so much color and movement. It's so trippy. And not only that, you can see like this, I think it's like aura or something. It's the colors behind what we don't, it's like what we don't see and in nature. And so when I look at the sun, the real sun, and then you look around at the trees, like there's all this color, but there's pink coming out of the trees all over the place. And like I had said before, that shaman told me, she went out and showed me outside, like communicate with the tree, go out and talk to a tree, send it telepathy, you send it love. And like, I don't know, this would be probably harder for some people to do if you're like right in the city. But if you went out to a park, you went out to, somewhere where there's a lot of trees, not a lot of energy coming off of a lot of other people, because people don't realize how much energy we're all putting out there. We're creating the chaotic energy. When I go into the city now, and it's not even a big city. It's not like, used to going into Seattle, you can get all excited and you're all charged up. Oh, this is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And you go in and you feed off of that energy. But right now, everybody's energy is chaos. Everybody's suffering and in pain and, so going into town is like you feel the energy, you feel the chaos, you feel the discomfort that people are experiencing. It's very intense. I know right now, like where I'm at with my life, I couldn't live like that all the time. So anyways, if you go outside and you get a place of peace and then you focus and communicate with the trees, you will see it's like a puff of pink cloud that comes out of it. You'll see like a pinkness. You communicate and you'll see. And it was trippy because she showed me. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy. So I've done that so many times. Just go outside and I'll talk to the trees all the time. I talk to the squirrels. I talk to everything. I talk to the cats. I talk to everything. I talk to Stella like she's an intelligent being. So, and I think it trips people out. I think they hear me talking to my dog and they're like, man, this lady's crazy. But you know, she's a being. She's not just a dog. You know, people just say, oh, it's just a plant. Oh, it's just a dog. It's just a spider. It's just this. It's just that. We're just, you know, just some other beings. And it doesn't feel so good, does it? So, anyways, it is very trippy. But when I was looking at the sun, I was seeing the, it was like I was sharing this excitement with the trees. Like everybody was excited. Like, oh, we have a sun today. And I did notice yesterday I have another dead tree. And it was one that last year when I said that they sprayed something on us and it made like these orange splatters on all of the trees. And people were like, oh, you know, I try and talk to people, even people who are awake, you know, who think that they are really on to what's happening here. And I would say, hey, they've sprayed something on us. It's killing the trees. I had talked about it when it was like this whole shower at the end of summer. It was way before fall. It was weird. It was like totally climate change, you know. And all of it started snowing like pine needles. It was the weirdest thing. I had to constantly rake up all of this, tons and tons. And so one of those trees is just dead now. And so many of the other ones just look like they're struggling. But anyways, everybody was super excited yesterday to have some sun. I don't know about my plants. My house plants are just really, I keep talking to them, telling them got to get through this, guys. We can do this. We can do this. I have to tell Stella all the time. This morning, you know, I slept better last night, but I was in constant dream, what we would consider dream, but I wasn't in a dream. I was in classes. They were showing me stuff and they were making it so clear to me how we are our own universe and our realities. And I can't even remember all this stuff that they were showing me because now I have all this other stuff on my mind. Maybe it will get more where I can explain it better, but man, it was trippy. It was some trippy stuff they were showing me last night. And, but so I slept better, but then this morning, you know, Stella woke up and she was not having it. She was like, I'm in too much pain. I got up, I gave her some medicine, but she just kept crying and coming over to me. And, you know, like she needed love and she just putting her face. She used to be able to get on the bed, but now her hips are so bad. And with that new pad I got, she can't get up there, which is, you know, it's hard when you've slept with your mom your whole life. Now you got to sleep on the floor. But so anyway, she was really feeling emotional. And so I got up with her and I came out and gave her some more medicine, made some tea, started looking at TikTok, you know, like, okay, we'll do this. I'll get up. But I was in such a deep, wherever I was, that they were showing me this shit. So, and then while I've been up, I kept having all these electrical shocks again. And I used to talk about these and I related it to the water. And I said, it feels like I've got these electrical shocks all the time. I can't sleep through them and stuff like that. So I was like, you know, I'm having that again. And it has to have something to do with what they are spraying on us. And I think there's got to be some stuff that they spray without us being able to see it. Because there was definitely no trails or anything. And there was planes going over all the time. I mean, nonstop. It is so trippy. And my neighbor was outside splitting wood. And his kids were out playing. And I think his wife was out doing some stuff. And I swear to God, they never even said anything. And he's ex-military. Never said a damn thing to each other. Like, weird, huh? What are all these planes doing? It's just, people are just willing to accept. They don't even question, like, why would we have all these planes? Like, and I think in their minds, they just make it like it's normal. Well, it's not normal. I made a complete thing the first year I moved here, talking to my daughter, how weird it is. There's never any planes. You never see anything. It's so quiet. And I used to go out and ride my bike all the time and would look up at the skies. It was quiet. I've seen a couple spaceships or whatever, ships that were not what they tell us is supposed to be up there. But there was not this nonstop plane bullshit. And so, you know, in that, that halo. So that was so trippy. I had not, since I haven't seen the sun in a long time, I had seen people talking about this halo around the sun, but I hadn't seen it. I'd only heard about it. And what's weird too is all the way back when I very first started having my awakening. So I would say probably around 5 or 6 years ago that I was already noticing things with the sky, and I was noticing that this weird, like there was a sun, there was a planet behind the sun or something. There was this other planet, and I kept taking pictures. And this is when I was on Facebook. This was before I had, my Facebook was hacked and I was kicked out, and Facebook's a piece of shit. So anyways, I had taken a bunch of pictures and I was putting them on Facebook. And oh my gosh, I'm telling you, you think people now don't get it? Boy, they did not get it. I was constantly, oh my God, that's what do they call that? It is something that the camera does. They kept telling me it's just something that the camera does. It's nothing there. And I was like, there's something there. And then I started hearing about Narubu and Wormwood and all that. And I was like, there's something there. So, and I just gave up. And then my Facebook got hacked. So I stopped taking all these pictures of the sky. And that's when somebody had emailed me and started telling me about the trails of chems and asking me to talk to my cousins. They'd already looked at some of my stuff because they figured out my cousin was a scientist, and whatever he worked on, and she wanted me to talk to him. And so when I did, and he was so arrogant, such a, like, I don't give conspiracy theories any recognition, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't know anything about this, but the stuff that she was sending me certainly seemed legit. And I was paying attention to my skies, and it was being covered. And it was while I was already noticing that there was something back there. And so, it was being covered and covered and covered. And I mean, it was when I lived in Spokane, and I lived right in downtown. And so you could see the stuff going all day long. And then when you try to tell people, they would be like, they're still doing it. Like, oh, that's just regular stuff. You're just a crazy person trying to make something out of nothing. But yesterday when I saw that halo, it didn't even just look like a halo, which it could be anything. I mean, it could be the freaking pressure building in the firmament. It could be, I have no idea. It definitely laying there, because I laid down and was looking up, and it definitely looked like a planet behind the sun. Totally looked like a big giant planet behind the sun. And was really weird is, so I kept trying to see, because I kept thinking, okay, this looks weird because the sky doesn't look the same texture as this halo. So I kept looking and trying to get footage and stuff. And so then I was like, it almost looks like it's swirling. Like there's a swirling kind of smoke to this planet or whatever this halo is. And so it was really weird. And I kept watching it, trying to get footage. And then I started seeing it was spreading and went out. And so then I was like, okay, so they're spraying directly over this something and it's spreading out. And today, we have the white sky again, not the blue sky. So whatever this fumigating us, just spreads out like that. But I was watching it and I didn't see, I could hear planes. I mean, I don't know if they're using their what is that called when they have that technique that they can not be seen. I can't think of what it's called. But you know what I'm talking about. They cloak themselves or whatever. Like, we have all that technology. So it's like, where are these planes that I keep hearing? And are they spraying? Are they shooting something out? Like, what the hell is going on? So I don't know. It's just, to me, more and more questions, more and more observable facts, more and more things that we can watch with our eyes. It's like we need to be asking the questions. We need to be curious about what this reality is and what they're doing to us. I think it's important. And there's a lot of people who just accept whatever. Oh, whatever, it's okay. Spray me with bug spray, it's okay. Oh, I've got cancer now. Well, I guess I should. And it's like so mental. People don't question anything. So anyways, I was having all these electrical shocks this morning in my fingers and stuff. And so I was like, it's got to be what Stella's going through. That's why she keeps crying. It's not just the ache, of the inflammation behind the arthritis. When if you're being attacked by things that are making more inflammation, so all of your joints start hurting. And she'll just be sitting there just gently, just licking and licking her front paws. It's her back that has got the arthritis. So everything on her is hurting. But if you have arthritis, then you have an autoimmune already with inflammation. So when anything comes in, it's just automatically your body just goes into this inflammation kind of like that. And so I think that's what she has going on. But so these electrical shocks I was feeling this morning, I was like, oh, I got to try the cigarette thing. Because yesterday I didn't smoke any puffs. I was like, okay. So I skipped 1 or 2 days because I'm telling you, if you're not a smoker, like I smoke weed, so you would think it would be similar, but it's not. It's not at all. It's very different. And it's just way different. So trying to take a puff of it is hard. It really hurts your lungs. And it doesn't feel gentle at all. It feels very like a... So I was like, well, I'm going to do a couple puffs. I think there was even some days where I just did like one, which, just in case you do try this cigarette thing, you got to watch out because those things will just keep burning. They'll stop burning. A joint, you can take a hit off of it, set it down, and it will just go out. A cigarette, you can puff it and then set it down. It will burn until it's gone. It will just keep going. It doesn't put itself out. So you got to be really mindful of that, especially because, it's $14 a pack. So it's like, I don't know if there's 12 or no, I think there's 20, maybe there's 24 cigarettes, 14. I don't know. There's like, I don't know. Is it $1 a cigarette or something? I just try and be frugal and be careful. So, but I guess it makes sense of how people have burned themselves up and started themselves on fire smoking because it literally doesn't go out. And one of the days when I figured this out, I was sitting here and I was like, what is that smell? Something is burning. What is that? It took me a while to figure out. Oh, there's a cigarette sitting here burning. I didn't even think of it. There's so many things that we just don't think of it. We just don't pay attention. We just don't take that extra step. Something comes in, but we don't go the extra mile to do it. I find myself doing that all the time where I have to tell myself, I'll be thinking about something and it's like, well, you can get up and do that now. It's like, oh yeah, I can. I'm going to go do that, So I think there's a lot to just really becoming, mindful in our lives, to really be present in our lives. Those things mean a lot more than what, I think that we've understood them to mean before. But it's all in the process of awakening where you really start being like, this stuff really matters. So another thing too, so when I got out this morning, and I don't know if the puffs worked yet. I think I did 5 because it was hurting so bad. I even blew one in Stella's face. So, I'll see if it makes a difference because I don't know. Is it venom that's being poured on us? I don't know. It would be nice if we could. I did the the rainwater thing, and then I had seen a couple comments even where they said, oh, I think she's holding something orange up behind the water. So I went down and just all my jugs that are lined up on my front porch, I just went down and filmed them all. One is so bright orange. It looks like, iron water or something. It looks weird. And I think it has something to with why this rain is so destructive. There's something like, this is like acid rain. There's something very destructive that they are putting into the water. So, but anyways, you could clearly see it's orange. And I did see somebody else say it would be cool if everybody started collecting the water so we could get it tested, and know. And then plus, I think comparing it and see like, oh, you guys are getting this, we're getting this, and you're getting that, and seeing what everybody is getting, because that's how they keep us all confused, because they're not poisoning us all with the exact same thing. So we can talk to somebody and then, they're having a different reaction. So there's no common thing. So they just think that you sound crazy. Well, it's all done on purpose to be that way. But so this morning when I was looking at the comments too, there's this person I get confused over, conversations with people like I can't keep up with. Like, is this somebody who is nice all the time, or are they trying to be snotty? Like, I don't know. But this person started, it was one of my ones where something probably about religion. And so they, feel sorry for me, of course, because I'm doing the devil's work. Because if I'm not a Christian, then I'm not worshiping the proper God. There is no God except for their God. And, we all need to be aware of that. So she or he, whoever this person is, said, because they never show their real pictures. They never show their real names. They're all just incognito. It's like, first of all, you probably should claim yourself, that's pretty key. Claim yourself, But anyways, hiding under a mask of whatever. So they were telling me how they got their family and everything, that they all prayed for me. And so I was going to be okay because they're praying for me. And to me, it's like, do you recognize the hierarchy there? Do you have any understanding that we're all souls, we're all sovereign, we all have free will? I talked about this before when I said people ask me like, oh, pray for this person. Well, I know you can't really override. You can't go in and say, this person is about to die. So we all we go to this higher power to command this soul. They will stay. They are not finished. We are not ready to suffer this pain. So, it just doesn't work like that. I since the very beginning, it's just something you just know in your heart. Like, I don't need a real rule book. And this really bothers people, like on the TikToks and stuff. Like, you don't need a rule book? Like, what do you think? People are supposed to just know what to do inside of them because they don't. It's like, yeah, but you're supposed to. You don't need a rule book. You got to tune into yourself. I can't control other people who won't tune in, who are just living like, oh, my parents aren't here, let's have a party. Think nobody's watching, I can do what I want. Those souls have to figure it out. You can't force them. You can't force somebody who drinks too much to face that. They have to face it for themselves. They have to come to that point of like, ooh, God damn, I really got a problem. Every time I drink, I turn into a madman. That's for each person to understand about themselves. You can't get somebody to understand your perspective. Your perspective makes no difference, really. It's their perspective. It's their vision of self. It's what we're here to learn about is ourselves. And we learn through experience. But even all that way back then when, Ryan was dying, the 3-year-old who had cancer, was born with cancer. Or he had it by the time he was a year or something. And this was, like 40 years ago. And it was super, super, super sad. I mean, Gail's child was dying and she had another child to try and save that child. I don't remember if it was something with stem cells or whatever it was that they needed from the one to give to the other one. you know, so she had another child, but she was happy with her one child. She didn't want to, you know, she was happy just to have one child. So she had another child, and we were all supposed to be praying for Ryan, you know, like, and I kept hearing it so loud inside of myself. You know, we can't, we don't have control over that. We can't, like, we can pray and direct energy. We can put out there, like, to me is, if you want to pray to somebody who's dying, you pray directly to them. You go to them and you give them strength to heal. You know, you tell them, you know, how much you love them. That's what our prayers, I believe, are supposed to be about. Not just like, oh, I pray, God, that this person will see what I see and you will show them what, you know. And we can force somebody to stay here past their contract. That's not possible. We can't force anybody to stay here. Even a 3-year-old soul, what we consider to be 3 years old, their soul is much older. They know what they came here to do. They know when they're supposed to leave. They're not like ignorant, like, oh, if we go and pray, we can make them stay. No. You come for a purpose. You come to live out a scenario and to create change. And you do it with a group. So the whole group is learning. Like, I learned stuff from Ryan's death, you know? So, anyways, it's just, there's a lot, I believe, to learn about that stuff. But these people who, you know, claim to be Christians, who so many are showing this double standard kind of, you know, they're not really living by God's true words. You know, they're living with a title, with a label that they believe makes them better than other people. And they feel justified in whatever they believe. You know, if they think, you know, you shouldn't be gay, then, you know, they're going to be mean to gay people. If you think you shouldn't be, oh, you shouldn't have tattoos. Well, you know, those tattooed people, they're really scumming people. They're a bunch of drug addicts. People just go put all this stuff on their skin like they don't have any sense. And, you know, the whatever, all of the different things, you can see where I'm saying, like, to just get judgmental. And it kind of, that is what it has created for a lot of these people who claim this label as a Christian. It's just given them this I'm better than you attitude, and I know more than you, and you are lower than me and stuff. And that's not what it's about. If you think Jesus was about that, then you really are clueless. And how do you follow someone's philosophy when you don't even abide by their own rules or their own perspective on things? You know, if you're following somebody, the path, then, you know, they're showing you the road signs, you know. So I don't know. It's truly not them following a path. It's them just grabbing a label and saying, hey, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. La, 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 I'm better than you. You know, it's like, fuck off with your shit. That is not bringing us together to come up and say, hey, I'm better than you. I'm going to just pray over you. You know, I'm going to gather some people to pray over you because poor you. And I just feel like we have to really get to this point of understanding where we're coming from. What's our intent? What is it we're trying to have happen here? What are we manifesting? Because we have to get to this point of being humble and accepting and loving and, you know, not trying to be controlling and, you know, get people to believe what we believe because that's the only way forward. No, the way forward is to allow everyone their own beliefs because we're all on our own paths. We're all here to understand and discover different things. We're not all here trying to do the same test. We're all unique. We're all individual. So in this place, I swear to God, more and more and more, it's not like it's going away for me. This place is all planets. What we consider to be planets outside of the firmament, it's all planet inside the firmament. It's all planets. It's all realities. It's all separate experiences. There's no, you know, you don't go to America and have the same experience as if you go to Russia or go to Syria or go to Africa. We all are separate experiences. They're all separate kind of realities for a soul to be birthed into. So, and, you know, and like I said, most of my past lives that I remember, I was always of some shade of brown. You know, there's only been a couple where I've seen myself where I would look like, you know, this color. So I don't know. You know, I think that there's a lot of realities here, a lot of different planets. And this is something that I had heard about in the UFO community too, is that there's so many different ones that are humanoid beings that we would consider, you know, that they look like us, only most of them all are of a brownish shade. Most of them look like islanders. You know, there's not as many white aliens. So I think it's something with the DNA that they've taken, and I think that they keep trying to remove certain things to whitewash us, because their focus is to create this droid society, a very small amount of people. And you know, most things that they can do now are just lab created, I think. I mean, it makes you wonder, like, are they sitting down for their Thanksgiving meal and pulling everything out of the lab? You know, or did they grow everything inside their lab to eat? Or, you know, I mean, are they just going down to the hotel? Hey, there's a couple of homeless guys, grab them. You know, who knows? You know, I mean, it's odd. It's odd. But we can see eating chemicals and eating toxins and eating artificial food is making us die. It's making us sick. It's making our hair fall out. It's making, you know, people are dying from it. It's not natural. And we have a natural state of being that needs to be acknowledged. And, you know, these people who are in control here know that they don't give a shit. They're trying to defeat that. They are actively trying to defeat God or nature. You know, they're creating their artificial world. It's just weird, too, when you think about people have an avatar right here. You're going to be working on this avatar, taking care of it, building it up, putting the clothes on it you want, doing the hair you want, all on your avatar. But people are just like kind of, you know, like dissatisfied with their avatar and giving up. And, you know, it's more fun to go in and create one on TV or social media. You know, it's a lot more buxom. It's a lot prettier than me or whatever. It's like, but you got to love your avatar that you are creating, not the one that you are trying to design. You have this one. Why are you just overlooking this one to go to the next model that you think that you can do better? Like, it is so micro macro. It's so representative of all of this stuff. So anyways, one thing that I thought was super fascinating that I wanted to talk about. So I think probably anybody who's been listening to me very long remembers when I was talking about that show called Brea. I think it was called Brea. I didn't finish it because it just, you know, sometimes they put cool concepts, but then the storylines are so ridiculous. The dialogue's so ridiculous. The, you know, things don't add up, and so they lose me quickly. So in this one, Brea or whatever, I think it was called Brea, it was this giant sinkhole opens up at the Brea tar pits. This giant sinkhole suddenly in the middle of LA. Well, it's the middle of the day, everything's happening. So the sinkhole opens up. All these cars and people fall into this sinkhole. And it looks like a portal. It has what they called, I think, a split in the sky or something. I can't remember what they were calling it. So all these people fall into this sinkhole. And then when they get in there, it's prehistoric. So they're in this prehistoric land. So they're in the same place, but they are in a different time and space of the same place. So it's like they're sharing space, but it's in different times. So these people are back at prehistoric, and these people are still in the current time trying to figure out how to rescue these people. And so in there, you could fly into it, but then they couldn't figure out how to get back out. And then plus the split was sealing itself up. And so all of these people, and of course, because it was TV, an ambulance, a food truck, all these things just happened to fall in. So they had some supplies and stuff. And they have to develop, their community of, whatever they want to develop to try and survive. So, and survival is very different than what we have been experiencing, in this lifetime, in this world that we've been experiencing. We haven't had to try and survive, with giant animals chasing us, or I don't know. There was some stuff that was interesting, but anyways, the point is, so this show was last year. I think it was last year or the year before. I know it was when Jordan or my daughter was here. I know I watched it during there because her and I would talk about it. She was the one who told me about the show. But the thing that is weird is, so that just happened in China. I don't think that the whole, city fell into it, like the dramatization of it. But this giant sinkhole opened up, and it's like 600 feet down or something. I don't know. It's really far down. I don't think they've started exploring it yet, but maybe they've flown into it or something, because they've said it's prehistoric. So this prehistoric pocket has opened up. So when you go on this concept of the honeycomb realities, and where people are like, oh, I don't think that the earth is, I think there's a hollow earth. Well, yeah, because it's honeycombs of realities. Like wherever that reality, like this is the thing. And so we have these realities. Because I had just seen last week, I think, and it was this woman, and she was doing this video. She went to this place to go through these caves. And so they go through all these caves. I couldn't freaking no way do this. Some of them you have to go really tight in. And I get that kind of panic thing. Like the little boy who just, they dug the sand hole 10 feet and fell in on him and killed him the other day. So that's my thing. I don't know. It probably happened to me in a past life. Maybe I was a minor. I don't know. But it definitely gives me a panic. So when I was watching the video, and they're going through these tiny cracks, belly crawling through to get to this other open part and all that stuff. So they go and they get to this part that they were calling prehistoric. That was beautiful and lush. There was splits where the sun would come in, or light would come through these splits. And so there was all this vegetation. It was beautiful. There was water like a rainforest. And this is stuff Corey Good talked about when he's gone into the inner earth and met with other beings and stuff. And because if you think about it, like the whole thing that we're arguing about, Earth, and you think about it all just being planets and other realities, and us under the dome, that we are of the same vibration, but this vibration is the awakening, is changing the vibration of this area. So, is it the water building it? Because if we're a bubble and everything is water and ocean around us, and not to say that it's the same consistency of water, because plasma and the electrical charge. So it doesn't mean because the firmament were to break, but there's something that's going to raise our water. And is it the ice wall melting? Is it the firmament busting? I don't know. But, there's a reason why the naval map shows the map changing, and all these rich people are buying up this property. So something's going on that they don't want us to know about. And I've seen something on the Russian TV where it said there's a cataclysmic event coming, and they're trying to hide it from us. So They know something's up. They know something's going on. There's definitely reasons why they're covering the sky. And when I saw that yesterday, it was like, more questions in the heavens. So I don't know. There's definitely something. But when you go into these other realities, so if you have these realities that are on the surface, so if we think of surface realities of planetary systems, right, of all these different landforms where you can be birthed into to go through the experience. And this, where we're at, has, this honeycomb. There's everything, there's more around us, and there's certain things too, as we open up, as we raise our vibration, that makes more accessible to us. Low vibration is, I refuse to see anything. I don't believe in anything. I believe in that's consciousness. It's consciousness that is not, it's not ready to evolve. It's still living those parts out, playing that part. So it's just not ready to question things yet. You have to want to question things. You have to be ready. Who am I? What am I? What am I here for? Those questions that, you need to ask yourself questions, and like, what is this place and what am I doing here? Because when you ask the questions, you'll get the answers. But when there's people not ready to ask the questions, that's because they're just not ready. Simple. So, but in this idea of this honeycomb, different existences, like there would be places that are underneath us right now there's whole entire worlds going on that we don't know about. We're up here trying to figure it out. Like, what's happening around us? What's happening? Is we waking up. But all these things have always existed around us. Have always been going. Like could easily be places, pockets, realities down, where we think it would be in the inner earth. But really, if we stood back and saw, it's just a giant honeycomb of realities everywhere. And so if you went into one of those, and I think it's the hand of God, just these sinkholes opening up, and how many sinkholes have opened up. I think this person this video was like, they were showing some news report or something, but I think there's like 600, I don't know, I got 600 stuck on my head. You can look it up. You can look up about the sinkhole that just opened up and how many have opened up that they haven't been telling us about. So there's, but to me, that is the earth showing itself like, hey, look, there's more going on here, guys. You aren't the only ones here. So there is, I think these things opening up, but when you go into those, there's like entire life forms, there's entire worlds happening all around us. And we just think like, this is the only way of being. This is the only state of being. This is the only way to live. And plus there's so much about this worshiping, like, well, you have to claim Jesus or you will go to hell. And like, why would you think that makes sense to live in fear like that? Like, you have to question those things. Is that really what a God that I would worship would be like? I'm going to burn you to hell if you don't say my name. So I don't know, but that to me is also what everybody has to come to, these realizations for themselves. Like, there shouldn't be a hierarchy. There shouldn't be, and there should never be just this one God. The whole point is that we all have our own God. The point is us coming together in acceptance and saying, hey, yeah, cool. Your relationship with your God is your personal relationship. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Why do other people feel the need? Oh, my God's pretty spectacular. You better worship him. Well, all thoughts of God are spectacular because the people who are focused on God, we all have spectacular thoughts about the situation. We look at it as fantastic, that there is something that is real. There's something that is, making everything, that creates this ebb and flow, that creates this energetic force that we are here experiencing. There's a place that all comes from. So I think it's fantastic, and I don't get offended by somebody else's thoughts of their God or their religion or whatever it is for them to find their truth. But there is, that's something that a lot of people are having a hard time to let go of. It's a very defined paradigm. Religion is very defined paradigm, and it is really fed a lot of people's egos, just like, what we're seeing right now with the science community and how their ego is so fed that even when science is changing its tune and saying this and saying that, it's still science. So anyways, we're moving ahead. I see us constantly moving ahead. I see more and more people waking up all the time. And, I know that this is all expansion, and there will be some people who are not ready for it. They need to continue to play out these paradigms, but that is that same thing where we can't just sit there and pray. They don't know what they need. I know what they need. They need to do this. Their soul knows. And don't forget, like I was thinking about this too the other day, is Valhalla. And that's real. And I bet you if we went to the reality of Valhalla, I bet you it's still the same damn Vikings. They're still gathered around that fucking table, living eternity in celebration, because that's what they believed they were going to do. And I believe that I bet you we could go and they are still there doing it, because it's a reality. They all were, that was what the Viking warriors, when they would go into battle, they didn't care, kill me, it's cool, whatever. If I'm dying, that is my, that's my exit stage left of Valhalla. I'll see you there, and that was their attitude. And they all had the same destination, just like Christians who come up with them. Well, there's a heaven. Well, even though it's not very defined, is it? Are you all going to the same place? Because Valhalla, they were defined. They talked about it. It was an open conversation, and they all had the same destiny. When my soul leaves my body, I'll meet you in Valhalla. So, and I imagine that reality exists and is continuing to thrive. And I would really love to go there. I would like to go to Valhalla and hang out with the Vikings, see what they learned through their lives and see what their attitude. And it's curious also, I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about Valhalla, was, how many of them are there satisfied and never question, like, being born again or question anything of wanting to change anything, or they're just happy? And, like, how many eons can we all be happy when we gather in the same place? Is there a certain point, like, where people start going, hey, this party is over? Why don't we go meet somewhere else? Why don't we go try this out? I heard about this cool destination. We could all go and see what goes on. Let's come up with a story. And let's go see what happens. See if we can remember who we are when we're not sitting at the table. So I just find all that stuff fascinating and exciting. And, I do want to go up to the Valhalla. And I do want to go into some of these... I don't want to go into the cave ones where I have to, belly crawl and go through little tight spots to get into this opening. But I do, a big old giant sinkhole. Yeah, I'd like to go in there and explore. And wouldn't that be exciting if that's part of what is going to be happening? Because I had heard that a while ago, is probably an Allison Code things. I don't know. It was just a lot of places I heard this and it kind of came together for me. But that we're going to be spending so much time traveling and exploring. That's why I keep trying to set up this more nomadic life. Like, even if the whole Airbnb thing falls apart, I have every intention of, creating or developing or getting involved with a travel group that also wants to travel and have a place that they can stop when they're up in this area, because there's so much to see up here. But there's going to be a lot of exploring in Scotland. I've heard that. But when you think about, like, if all these sinkholes are opening us up to other realities and stuff, like, there'll be some exploring in there. Oh, and another thing too, that a lot of people who have been really going into this, these cave mountain things, is there's so much evidence about the giants. And the giants, there's still giants here. There's still giants that eat people here right now. So they've always been people eaters, you know, but we have to realize, you know, that we eat other things too. We eat animals, and we're just animals. We aren't something different. You know, we want to think that we're something different, that we're some kind of special way up there in the food chain. It's kind of like what these people did to kind of trick us and confuse us, make us believe that we're high up on the food chain, so we don't know that they are slaughtering us and putting us on their plates. So anyway, something to think about. And let's just see. We'll just see how things keep going. I did see somebody, and we've heard this so many times, but, you know, it's just an acknowledgement again of there's a big expectation that we're going to go dark this week because of all the stuff going on with the UN and stuff. So who knows? I mean, every week, every time I hear someone say that, I don't, you know, like a lot of people get all, I was just like, oh, I hope so. Please let it be this week. Please let it be this week. God, please let it be today. Oh, which, by the way, my bank has been down all weekend. And when I tried to, I've never been able to get on the other one that was sold. I haven't got onto that account again. But this other one, it was down all weekend. And then I went on it this morning, and it still said no information available, which to me is all good signs, because the banking system is, you know, I mean, it's a big part of the enslavement of us. So it's something that we really need to crash. And it's sad because I still see people in comments on other people, like if I see a post, you know, and I'll read it and I'll kind of be like, what are other people thinking about this? And you go in and see, and it's like people asking, well, should I go take out my retirement? Should I take out my retirement? You know, and some people think like hide the money. It's like, you're not understanding what's happening if you think you can hide the money. The only way that you're going to be able to do anything with that retirement is to get it right now, and then go buy something solid. So when the money crashes, you have something, you know, whatever it is. Maybe go buy 200 million crystals and sell them. Go buy, you know, whatever it is you think that is going to help you. And I would say a business, but it has to be something that you love so much, that you're so dedicated to, that you would choose to do that rather than go explore sinkholes, you know? Like, I mean, how can we sit there and say, hey, you go work in that restaurant and feed me while I go out and explore? You know, I think that there's a lot of changes, and it's a lot of stuff that people are going to have to realize that, you know, we're all here to live. We're not here to wait on anybody else or to make anybody else's existence fun for them. It's us creating our own fun and creating the existence that we want. So it's just a lot of shifting, a lot of opening up our minds and opening up our expectations on others, you know? So anyways, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.